If you can handle it, I'm going to prove that while Sebastian from La La Land appears to be a charming, passionate, idealistic jazz pianist, he's actually a manipulative narcissist who poisons the mind of a young actress named Mia. This is Exposing Movie Villains. Their first two encounters are giant red flags. It's gridlock traffic, at a standstill, and when Mia doesn't immediately notice the cars in front of her moving again, Sebastian lays on his horn, then whips around this young girl's car and stares her down. Unnecessary. He is also the type of guy to get fired for playing a style of music his boss doesn't think is appropriate for his restaurant, then beg for his job back and actually be given a second chance on the condition that he sticks to holiday music and not improvisational jazz. But then show up, promise to be less difficult, and immediately start arguing again for permission to play the music that he wants, which is flat out rejected. Then instead of jazzing up the requested holiday playlist, he resentfully complies by giving the most soulless renditions possible. Unprofessional. Then that same night, break his promise and start playing improvisational jazz again. And at the end of this animated performance, seemingly designed to attract as much attention as possible, he looks around like he's expecting some sort of standing ovation. One person does seem enthralled with his music, however. It's Mia, who holds an inspired stare at Sebastian that he notices both before and after getting fired again. Mia approaches him and begins to say how amazing his playing was, and he rewards this passionate fan by not only ignoring her, but shoulder checking her too. Flash forward, Mia sees Sebastian playing at a party, and despite being disrespected twice, she seems even more determined to pursue him, something common in girls who are emotionally vulnerable. Low self-esteem. She decides she needs to switch up her tactics by teasing him to match his cunty energy. So she requests a song and does a dance to mock him. Sebastian's now both offended and curiously thinking, who is this girl begging for my attention, even as I spit in her face repeatedly, as any sociopath would? So he goes over to give the illusion of empathy and marginal interest by admitting he was rude to her, but not apologizing, then asking her name before yet again blowing her off. It works like a charm because Mia, again, vies for his attention as he's leaving the party. Now that she's clearly hooked, Sebastian needs to continue to drive down her self-worth, which he does by singing a song about how she's ruining a beautiful sunset view of Los Angeles, during which he literally kicks dirt on her. This dance symbolizes his grooming, to see if she'll follow his commands and mimic his moves. But his interest is only truly piqued when Mia gets a call from her boyfriend, Greg. Sebastian's mission is now clear. If he can get Mia to leave her boyfriend for him, it'll satisfy his ego-driven validations and prove her obedience. So he makes a surprise visit to her work because he had to even the class imbalance that he felt earlier while working the party she was attending. He immediately brings up her boyfriend so she can marinate in the shame of her betrayal. Then he takes her to a jazz club so he can hit her with more guilt about how jazz music will disappear from existence unless he's able to start his own jazz club. Mia leaves her boyfriend that night. Some time has passed, the two are dating now, and Mia's writing a one-woman play for herself to star in. This specific idea was likely guided by Sebastian to both pull her focus away from attending auditions and to isolate her from all other actors. Now her focuses can be narrowed to the play, Sebastian, and his jazz music. She offers ideas for his future club, so he praises her for her interest in his passion. He also approves of the play she's written, which he describes as the whole world from your bedroom. He probably likes it because it alludes to a woman without freedom. Mia describes to her mom the large financial investment she's making to produce her own play, which brings a smile to Sebastian's face, since it makes her that much more dependent on him. He then reluctantly decides to accept a job opportunity from an old friend. Previously, he would have declined being in a position to take orders, but now this money can further his power over Mia. Her dependence is accelerated even further when she chooses to quit her barista job. Wonder where she got that idea. Sebastian sings the lyrics, "City of stars, are you shining just for me?" i.e., will Mia, this potential star, channel all her energy towards Sebastian's pursuits? This is where it becomes clear that Mia is now programmed to mimic all of Sebastian's emotions, no matter how immature they may be. Despite being in a successful band with heavy jazz influences that also gives him multiple solos within the same song, Sebastian isn't happy. He gives a low energy and subtly melancholic performance because he's not in total control or the center of attention. His displeasure shoots into Mia and reverberates as she looks to be having a terrible time while listening to live upbeat music in a room filled with excited fans and great energy. More time passes, and now Sebastian's making his final moves for total control. Mia leaves a message describing how Sebastian has cut off communication with her for an extended period of time. She doesn't even know what city he is in. But then she arrives home to see that he's actually in town by surprise and prepared a romantic dinner for her. This wild fluctuation in affection and interest is common in deeply problematic relationships. As her play approaches, his goal is clearly to distract her with doubt and insecurities so that she will forever associate preparing for a role with these terrible feelings. He furthers this by questioning why she's unwilling to go on the road with him a mere 2 weeks from her play's premiere. He applies more pressure by describing a future where he's on tour for the next 2 or more years, then accuses her of not believing in his band when she said nothing of the sort. Overwhelmed with the fear of losing him, as intended, Mia tries to see if she can convince Sebastian to leave the band. She references his consistently mentioned distaste for the band's leader, a man who's been shown as nothing but respectful, that brought him on to a band already with a record deal and distribution, who dealt with his immaturity and made his playing a focal point of the performances. Sebastian once again tries to make Mia feel guilty by saying that she's the only reason he sacrificed his artistic integrity to join the band in the first place. Then he tells her that she never believed in his dream of owning a jazz club, or even liked jazz music, despite designing a logo for him and the countless nights she spent happily dancing to jazz music with him. Now, it's the opening night of Mia's big show, the one she's been working on for the better part of a year. And not only has Sebastian not invited any of his friends, family, his band, or thought to have leveraged his band's large fan base to help market the project Mia has spent all of her savings on, he decides to skip it entirely to event a random photo shoot. As the lights come on, Mia sees that only a handful of people have attended. As she's in her dressing room, she overhears 2 random dudes talking about how terrible of an actress she is.
She's not even good.
That whole window thing?
What was that? What was that shit with the window? Oh my god, don't quit your day job.
The idea of 2 guys who talk and think like this actually choosing to pay money to go see a one-woman show from someone they have no emotional connection to, and then mock it directly in front of a backstage dressing room literally only makes sense if they were actually paid by Sebastian to help bring her to an emotional rock bottom that only he can rescue her from. He rushes up to the theater as if he actually gives a damn, and then, for the first time the entire movie, says the words, "I'm sorry," so that it can seem as if he has actual empathy. This is where Sebastian had assumed that he'd be able to gain full psychological control over Mia. But one thing he didn't count on was that she isn't from a broken home and actually has a supportive, loving family that she can turn to. Blindsided by this revelation, Sebastian has no idea what to do after she's left him high and dry. That is, until he gets a call from a casting agent trying to reach Mia unsuccessfully because she's not answering her phone. Knowing that this casting agent will surely just email Mia from the same address she used to market her play, Sebastian tells the agent that he can deliver the information so that he can use it as a way to slime his way back into her life. He drives to her house and makes a big scene as per usual to inform Mia that a big casting agent actually went to her play and wants her to audition for a highly competitive movie role. Still traumatized by the emotional hell Sebastian has put her through, and with no confidence left, she resists. But Sebastian tells her that she's an amazing actress and demands that she attend the audition only because he needs to draw her back to LA and separate her from her family if he is to resume manipulating her. It works, and luckily for Mia, the role she's auditioning for would take her to Paris for 7 months. When Sebastian learns this, he decides he doesn't have the energy to gaslight and control her from such a long distance, especially now that he knows he would also have to contend against non-problematic parents. So, he pretends to be a loving and supportive boyfriend to leave the door open in case something goes wrong, upon which he can try to break her down again. The end.